Hey, this is Sasha Evdokov, founder of TRADERSFLY.com and InvestingHelpDesk.com, where I share with you some insights on the frequently asked questions that I get in video format or in more detail. So today's question is, what's a good computer setup if you are getting started in trading? Well, when it comes to this, I actually have a free 3+ hour course. If you want to get it for free, just visit tradingcomputercourse.com and it'll route you to the exact place where you can get this course absolutely free. But I will give you some insight regarding some of the things about getting a computer set up here just very briefly. So if you're looking to compare a desktop versus a laptop, typically I prefer a desktop as it is faster, cheaper, and if you have a problem with it, it is easier to fix. Basically, anybody can fix it in the world. As far as if you go to Best Buy or a tech store, it's a lot easier to fix. Not to mention all the components that are used. They're a little bit larger, but that means they're typically a little bit more advanced. So it's a little bit faster, and that also makes the parts cheaper because you don't have to condense all that power into a small laptop. So that's what makes laptops a little more expensive. Now, although laptops are nice to carry with you and are portable, they do have some heating issues. So if you're trying to pack a lot of power into them, sometimes, especially when you're doing a lot of trading, you may get some heating issues, especially if you're overusing your laptop. Not to mention attaching multiple screens and monitors makes it a little bit difficult. So with my trades, I do not risk the lag time that laptops have. So when it comes to Apple versus Windows, everybody's always wondering, should I get an Apple machine? Should I get a Windows machine? My personal preference is a Windows-based system, even though now some trading platforms are browser-based, meaning you don't need to install software. You can just trade right off of the browser. Now, other platforms are downloadable, which are typically more powerful. So there are some systems, some software that you can install for trading. They are more powerful. And typically the financial industry is a little older. Think of it like the old banks. So it is typically easier to develop for Windows-based systems for them. And more people, more traders use Windows. So that's why typically I would recommend going with a Windows machine, even though I understand that Apple may be a little more fancy, the design looks a little fancy. But for me, because it's easier to repair, easier to fix, the parts are cheaper, not to mention most of the software is also just created and developed ahead of time for Windows before it is for Apple, at least in the financial industry. Because remember, all these older corporations and traders, they don't like to change what they have. So right now, Windows is typically better, and that's my personal preference. Now, one of the things that you really probably want to focus in on and really have when it comes to your trading system and setup is having multiple screens. Multiple screens and monitors are probably the best investment in your computer trading system because looking at multiple charts and stocks at once saves you a lot of time. And that's one of the things that laptops do not have a great ability on. So to have multiple monitors, you will need a video card that can handle a multi-monitor output. And like I said, with laptops, they may give you one additional monitor, but once you start getting into 3 or 4 monitors, laptops most of the time cannot handle them. For me personally, we have video cards that can handle up to 6 monitors, and you can stack 4 of those cards or 5 of those cards, giving you about 24 monitors right there. So it makes things a lot better when you're really starting to be more active in trading. Now, as far as price and when you're getting started, what should you expect to pay? Well, you can get a basic computer to get you started for less than $1,000. So anything under $1,000, you can still trade just fine. It's like getting a car that's less than $1,000 or $2,000. A basic car will still get you from point A to point B, and I can still trade on a computer that's less than $1,000. Now, is it more convenient to have multiple monitors and so forth? Is it more convenient to have air conditioning in your vehicle when you're driving down a sunny Florida day? Absolutely. So in that case, you may need to spend a little bit more. So $2,000 to $3,500 will be more than sufficient for a powerful computer system. It is better to get two systems at $2,000 than a powerful one at $4,000. Remember, this business is about risk management. I know that some tech people and very techie people, they say, well, I really want the best, or people who are just really interested in high-end things. They may want to say, oh, I want to spend $4,000 or $5,000 on my computer system. But remember, your upgrade cycle, you're going to upgrade this every 1.5 to 2 years. That's typically the cycle I look at, is within 2 years, I want a new system because I want to be able to keep up with the power, with the speed of the industry. So if I'm spending $5,000 on a system and I expect to have it for 3 to 5 years, that's a little too long. I would much rather do it more frequently and upgrade more often because it would allow me to have a faster system. Things are cleaner. It is just much better for the risk management. And instead, rather than having one computer at $4,000 or $5,000, I'd rather have two computer systems completely separate but identical at $2,000 or $3,000, because that way, if any part fails, I can pull it from the other computer. If a monitor fails, I can pull it from the other computer. Remember, this business is about risk management. This is not your gaming computer. This is not your, fun computer that you want really fast and powerful. This is a business, and with a business that you're managing risk. What happens if that computer fails and doesn't start up, and you have trades on that day that you need to either close out or open up new trades? So in that scenario and situation, you'd have to trade off of your phone or tablet, and it would really be a little more annoying. So for me personally, I'd rather have two computer systems running tied together, and if any one of them freezes, I can quickly jump to the other computer and make the changes that I need. So remember to check out that free 3-hour course, which is going to go in much more detail about the components, the parts, all about building and creating your trading computer. So visit that at tradingcomputercourse.com, and it's absolutely free. Just fill out the form, and you'll get that course for free. Now, if you want to see more questions and answers, just like this one on video format, feel free to visit the investinghelpdesk.com. Now, if you want to go more in detail about your investing and trading education, then visit my primary trading website at TRADERSFLY.com, where you get to really see more detailed courses and training videos. And finally, if you want to take a look at our podcast, courses and books, or see my critical charts, or even subscribe to us on YouTube, then click one of these buttons or links right here on this page, and you'll be taken directly to that location. Thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time.